Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Lurking in the News, Volume 3. This is our true crime news updates.
Yes, this is our short little ditties to keep you maybe in the know, maybe even give you a little tidbit of a recent case that uh hopefully I'm hoping we are starting to get more that is solved. I'm really
Yeah.
but some of these are also just re giving attention to maybe some cases. Like I have one that's re giving attention to.
Yeah, all
Um
of mine are actually solved.
are they? Okay. All right. So
For the most, there's some investigation happening, but part of it is solved.
okay, so my good variety today. So,
Yeah.
all right. So my first one is Amber Berbiglia was a 23-year-old who inspired to be a fashion designer.
Yeah.
She she returned to her hometown in North Myrtle Beach after studying fashion in London. On May 3rd, 2013, Amber was going about a normal day running errands. She stopped for gas, paid some bills, and all of this was seen on surveillance footage. What was also seen was an outline of a figure in the passenger seat of her car that was never identified. Amber's boyfriend, Jose Sober, was ruled out immediately because he was in Europe at the time. Amber's car was found under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass in Little River, South Carolina. It was the middle of the day. The car was still running with Amber's purse, phone that was still ringing, and money were all still inside. And her body was found outside of her vehicle, beaten to death.
Ooh.
The autopsy revealed no sexual assault. She was struck twice in the head. Two teenage boys discovered her body when mud bogging. Horry
Never heard of
County mud bogging, yeah, good old southern shit.
that.
Horry County police had no leads and quickly hit a dead end in this case. After only 3 months, it was handed over to the cold case department. This devastated Amber's family, specifically her mother, who is still active in bringing attention to Amber's case, which I've lived here in this area for 10 years and have never heard of this case. So
Yeah.
there is a memorial under the overpass for Amber. And the other day, me and Russ actually passed it, ironically, because it was on the 13-year anniversary date of,
Okay.
so May 3rd. Amber's murder remains unsolved to this day.
Hmm. That's sad.
Yeah. And that's all. We have no information. None.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. My first story is. Do you hear that siren?
Oh, yeah.
Going
Oh, yeah. We hear that siren.
by. My first case is Laura O'Malley. Laura O'Malley was only 13 years old when she went missing from her New York home in 1975. She was raised in Queens, New York. It's reported that she left her home in August of 1975 because she didn't get along with her stepfather, and her family reported her as missing. Her mom and stepdad did eventually separate, and an article by People magazine states her family urged her to return back home but never heard from her again. Unidentified partial skeletal remains were found in a riverbed off Highway 129 in Santa Cruz, California in March 1995, 20 years after Laura went missing.
Mm.
For decades, the identity of the deceased person was unknown. Investigators tested the remains and confirmed the victim was female in 2016, but she still remained unidentified. The sheriff's office partnered with Othram, which is a Texas-based genetic genealogy company that specializes in forensic DNA analysis. Othram believed the victim was between 13 and 17 years old when she died and stood between 5'1" and 5'7" tall. In 2019, the case was looked at again, and carbon dating confirmed the female was born in the 1960s and died between 1977 and 1984, according to the Santa Cruz Sheriff's Office. Othram was able to conduct advanced forensic DNA testing, including forensic grade genome sequencing, to take the degraded remains and create a DNA profile. She likely had brown hair and possible European ancestry, so the next step was finding family members. On Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, investigators announced the remains belonged to Laura O'Malley. Her disappearance and how she died is still under investigation because she went missing in New York and her remains are found in California.
Wow. Yeah.
She's 13 years old.
Wow.
So it's unknown how she got to California, if she chose to go, if she was forced or possibly kidnapped.
Oh my
We don't know that yet.
goodness. That's scary to think.
It is.
That's all. Yeah.
I mean, it was the 70s, so she possibly could have went hitchhiking. That was popular then, but
Yeah. Very
does she know
popular.
someone in California? Who was she going to stay with? What was she going to do out there?
Probably had no plan. 13, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Ashley Keene, a public information officer for Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office, said, "We're hoping that by this case getting so much attention and bringing it to light that it might jog someone's memory," she says. "They might remember seeing her in California or before she left New York and give us a call." Anyone with information on Laura O'Malley's case is asked to call the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office at 831-471-1121. Oh, it's a little bittersweet.
It is. That one. Yeah. That, like, I know you said yours are all solved, but I don't know. That's.
Yeah. She was found, but we don't know
Yeah. Tisk,
what led up
tisk.
to her death.
I would
I
call
mean, she
that
was pretty
solved.
clearly murdered, but
Yeah.
who?
As that one's very old one, but unfortunately, I feel like at least she was found. Her body was
Yeah.
found. But
Yeah, there's a lot of old cases getting solved with genetic genealogy, and it's awesome.
it is. Yes. I am talking about Henry Frantz, was a 74-year-old avid scuba diver who passed away while scuba diving on March 10th in Maui, Hawaii.
Oh.
In 1970s, he was the founder of the APB, or the Atlanta Pipe Band. He was a pipe major and was a member for 55 years. The exact cause of his death hasn't been revealed. And on March 16th, just 6 days after Henry's death, while the Frantz family was cleaning out the home, they found human remains located in a treehouse in the backyard in
Ooh.
Decatur, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
Bianca Loveless, who is the director of the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office, found that the remains belong to Frantz's 32-year-old son, Henry Doyle Frantz Jr. At this time, the cause of death has not yet been determined, but the son has been missing for 4 years now, 28 years old when he went missing.
Was he reported missing?
Apparently, after talking to police, the son was never reported missing to the local police department.
Right. And what about the rest of the family? They didn't report him missing? Like, hey, where's my son or brother?
It has also not been determined how long he has been dead for. The remains were mostly skeletal. So no, like I couldn't find any information that like the family was like he wasn't reported missing. So I don't know if the dad gave a story to the family of just like this is so fresh, we don't
Yeah.
have the background of it. I don't know if the family was just told a story of like, oh, he ran away or whatever, and then he's dead in the
Right, yeah.
dad's
He either
backyard.
kept them in the dark or they're involved.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, was that the end?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you had
Yeah,
more to say.
yeah, no, that's the end of it. That one's a shorty because it's so new. There's
Yeah.
not many cases. We don't know how he died. There's no cause of death. Yet the coroner was still doing her investigation and the family, yeah. Well, that's it.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what else comes of that.
Yeah.
Because something sketchy there. Next, I'm talking about Elizabeth Tamilore Odunsi. She's a 23-year-old British woman who was found stabbed more than 24 times by her roommate in their Houston, Texas apartment on April 26, 2025. So this happened not even a month ago from the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
The deadly altercation reportedly began as an argument over her roommate's cat.
Oh my goodness.
She was killed by her roommate, Chester Lamar Grant, age 40. She's 23, who
Oh my.
has multiple convictions in Washington state for domestic violence, with his most recent being on September 6, 2023, according to USA Today.
Mm.
They were fairly new roommates, only living together for about 2 or 3 months. So I don't know like how she met this guy, how they became roommates.
Yeah.
As a 23-year-old, I do not know that I would be comfortable having a 40-year-old man as my roommate, but I don't know what the
Yeah.
dynamic was there. Officers were called to check on the apartment around 5:30 p.m. on April 26th, Houston police said. Officers knocked on the door and did not receive an answer, but when they noticed blood on the rear patio, they entered the apartment. Odunsi was found laying on the kitchen floor with multiple stab wounds, and Grant was in a bedroom where he tried to take his own life by stabbing himself 6 times, including in the side of the neck.
Oh.
Yeah. Paramedics pronounced Odunsi dead at the scene, while Grant was transported to a hospital in critical condition. He was later arrested on May 3rd once he was cleared for discharge and charged with murder. His bond was set at $500,000. Odunsi had moved from the United Kingdom at the age of 17 to the U.S. to pursue her dream of becoming a nurse.
Oh.
She was attending the Texas Women's University College of Nursing and was due to graduate 1 week after her death. That's horrible.
That is terrible.
A Harris County judge said during the bond hearing, the allegations in this case allege he stabbed his female roommate 28 times, killing her over some disagreement over his cat. So this is an allegedly extremely brutal murder with an extensive history of violence, which I find to be an extreme danger to the community.
28
And I
times.
agree. Yep. Over an argument over a cat.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Her father, John Odunsi, threatened legal action against local police and her landlord, citing negligence after discovering that her roommate was a convicted felon. He said, "If there are failings, we'll take legal action. I feel failed by the police from what I've heard. The landlord should have done the necessary checks on the tenant who was staying with my daughter. I don't know what sort of vetting was done on the roommate. That's what we're trying to ascertain, but unfortunately it won't bring back my lovely daughter." And I agree, like, there should have been a background check.
Yeah. I agree.
A GoFundMe for Odunsi was started. She was known on TikTok as Tammy Dollars, or TD, and the GoFundMe describes her as a beloved sister, daughter, and friend. She had nearly 50,000 followers on TikTok and was best known for making lifestyle videos about her journey through nursing school.
Aw.
She was honored during TW's commencement ceremony with a posthumous Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree, which was accepted on her behalf by her family.
Nice.
Yeah. Very sad.
That is sad. A senseless death.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Yeah. Eat a bag of
Rot
dicks.
in prison. Yeah. Which you will. You're in prison now,
Yeah,
bitch.
that's right. Okay. My last one is on Saturday, March 16th, 2025. 16-year-old Kaylah Love, a junior in high school, was last seen leaving her house to go to McDonald's with friends when she never returned home.
Hmm.
The next evening, her body was found stabbed multiple times and beaten to
Oh,
death. Her body was found in Heron Park in Chicago, Illinois. Her death was ruled a homicide by the medical examiner. Apparently, someone saw Love at the park that night, possibly getting attacked, according to a 911 call.
oh
A
my.
quote from the 911 dispatch says, "She called police yesterday regarding a female being beaten by a male. She walked by the same location and sees the same female deceased. Offender male, black, wearing black clothing." Allegedly, Chicago police officers that responded that night to the original 911 call never exited their vehicle to investigate.
What?
Yep.
There's a possible woman being beaten and murdered, and they're not going to go check it out?
No, they didn't even get out of their car. They just drove by and like flashlighted and was like, yep, everything's fine.
I'm leaving.
Yeah. They didn't even get out of the car, and they probably could have saved her because she was actively being beaten and stabbed.
That I hope her family presses so many, not charges, but like tries to sue for so much money.
Right.
Like,
On March 22nd, a 15-year-old boy was taken into custody for the murder of Kaylah Love. But that is all the information. I think it's because he is 15.
15.
Yeah. And this
And
was,
how old is she?
she was 16. Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, lots of children in the news today.
Yeah.
But that's all the information I have right now on that one of him as a 15-year-old boy.
What the heck could happen between a 15 and 16-year-old that he's going to like beat her to death and stab her?
I have no idea. I don't
Like,
even
she
know
was
if,
just going to McDonald's. How did she veer off to go to this guy? Like,
yeah. I don't know if it was part of the friends or he just jumped her maybe that
or
park.
I was going to ask, did it say if she knew him?
No, there was, yeah, nothing of, I don't even know if they had a boy in custody for it. I'm guessing they have it with having him in custody, they have enough to charge him. But I'm wondering also if he's not officially charged yet. And that's also why they haven't released his name and stuff.
Right. Hmm. That's sad. Poor girl.
Yeah.
Another senseless death.
Yeah.
All right. My last case is Shannah Boiteau. She was a 23-year-old mother who went missing in 2016 after fleeing from her boyfriend's car into the woods in Minnesota and was never seen again until her remains were just found in April of 2025. The last time anyone saw Shannah was on June 22nd, 2016. She's originally from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, but I guess she was leaving the state to avoid an arrest for a parole violation.
Oh,
Her family had found a note she wrote taped to her kitchen cabinet that said she thought she would be going to jail for breaking the terms of her parole, and there were a few things she needed to take care of before that happened. She wrote that she loved her daughter and just had to finish some things. Her dad told Dateline, "We were so mad she took off." I came across some conflicting information. One article said she ran into the woods because her and her boyfriend passed by a police vehicle, and one said she ran to the woods after an argument with her boyfriend. Either way, she ran away barefoot from the vehicle that was being driven by her boyfriend on a stretch of Country Road 74 outside of St. Cloud, Minnesota. She left her phone, purse, and shoes behind. An NBC article said authorities reportedly witnessed her looking distressed as she made her way into the trees. So I guess police were present. Maybe they were getting pulled over. I don't know. The story isn't clear.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But what happened to her after she went to the woods is unknown. Authorities searched for her, but her case quickly went cold. Which seems strange to me because if they witnessed her run into the woods, like,
Yeah,
how was she not found?
what were they doing? Yeah.
Like, did they not go in right away after her and were, like, waiting for backup or something?
Exactly. Why didn't they chase after a barefoot lady in the woods?
Right. So I don't know what's up with that. They also did not believe that she knew anyone in the St. Cloud area. So they don't think she, like, ran off to, like, go to someone's house or something. Like, on April 26, 2025, a man found remains on his property near where Shannah ran off. Recent drought conditions exposed the once flooded area where her remains were located, and they were identified on April 29, 2025. The investigation into her case remains active. So we've now covered, like, a few cases where people have run off into the woods and end up dead.
Yeah, this is
What
crazy.
is happening out there? Like, how is this happening?
I don't know, man.
Like, this was June. She didn't, like, succumb to elements in the cold. And the one guy you had, his was in May, I think.
Yep.
Like, how are they dying?
I don't
Like, what
know.
is happening? It
And
makes
it's
no sense.
different. Those were two different states too. That mine was a southern state, yours was a northern
Mm-hmm.
state.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. People
I
just
don't know
not
either.
prepared out there in the woods.
I guess. Maybe they're getting lost. I don't know.
Starving to death. I don't know. Dehydration get you real quick.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
it's just like, what was she doing? Like, what was her plan?
I don't know. And then she wound up dead. And like, yeah.
Yeah. And she's 23 and has a little daughter.
Oh, that's really sad.
It's just very sad and confusing.
It is. Well, let us know feedback on these news cases if you guys are enjoying them, these little tidbits, because I like them, but you know.
Yeah, I like to stay updated on what's happening in across the country. Not too many worldwide ones that we've come across, but they've mostly been U.S. cases, I think.
Yeah. But you never know. We'll dabble. We'll see what comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the meantime, make like a shadow and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast.
Check us out on TikTok at.
Lurking in the Shadows pod.
Any questions, concerns, or case suggestions, shoot us an email at.
Lurking in the Shadows podcast at gmail.com. And keep lurking around for our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.